Hey guys, quick video here. I just finished recording a second ago and I realized that I've been complaining a lot about other people having evos while I don't, and I've got 9 evo shards. Why am I not using them? I'm not using them because I'm saving them for my next deck. So this count is not ending at 9,000 trophies, it's ending when I get top 10,000 in the world. So I want to save my evo shards so I can go all in on a double evo deck that's overpowered later on. Probably when some later evo is going to be overpowered or something like that. But I realized that a lot of people who are watching my stuff probably won't be hardcore, like, thinking long game. So if you are looking specifically for getting to 9,000, here are the best evos that you're going to want to have. You're going to want evos that have some objective increase in stats, where, and things that are extremely annoying if you leave them alone. Because mid-ladder players, they don't know how to actually counter things, so they just rely on stats to counter your stuff. So what you want in an evo is something that is not counterable with stats and must be countered by a direct counter. So what would those be? Evo eye drag, very good. You must counter evo eye drag by playing careful or with electricity. So of course, an over-leveled e-wiz is definitely going to be painful, but most mid-ladder menaces are not going to know how to handle an evo eye drag. Same goes for e-drag. So I'm just going to go down the list now. Evo Skellies, you know how Evo Skellies work. Evo Spirit, deceptively good on defense. Extremely good, honestly. Evo Snowball, pretty good, but Evo Snowball isn't very good against mid-ladder, so I wouldn't recommend you go for that one. Evo Knight, believe it or not very good against mid-ladder. Mid-ladder players, what do they like to do? A bajillion tanks. Is Evo Knight good against tanks? It is not. Evo Knight has functionally no stat bonuses. It's only better against rangers, and you can never guarantee that they're always going to have a ranger, because mid-ladder decks are nonsense. Evo Archers, very good against mid-ladder. Why? Because they hit like a truck. Of course, a lot of mid-ladder decks are playing arrows, but if you split your archers, they can't reasonably arrows just one archer. And even if they do arrows one archer, you can pull your stuff towards the other archer's sight range and get the other archer helping out. So Evo Archers are pretty much just a guaranteed screen clear, even if you are low level. I wouldn't recommend going for Evo Cannon because it's got very level-specific interactions. Evo Barrel is pretty solid against mid-ladder players, but not quite as much as you might think, because sure, it'll get you tower damage, but what good is tower damage if you can't defend? You have to be able to survive before you can think about tower damage. But on the topic of survival, these two are probably the two best anti-mid-ladder evos that you can get. Dark Gob, when an Evo Dark Gob touches something, that push, that lane is gone. So Evo Dark Gob is one of the best, absolute best anti-mid-ladder just cards to have. Firecracker, same thing goes for Firecracker. She's not quite as overpowered as the Dark God, because even once you've killed the Dark Firecracker, she's not getting you any more value. But she hits like a truck. She actually has a slowdown. When things are standing in her damage, they get slowed down. And of course, she does extra damage. So that extra damage and the slowdown can really help you mitigate a couple of those level disadvantages that you're going to be having. Don't do Musketeer. Goblin Cage isn't that level dependent, but it's definitely level dependent enough that I really don't think you should be using it. It's only good for one mini tank at a time, and mid-ladder players like to have 20 of them. Evo Valk, pretty solid anti-mid-ladder Evo. Why is it a solid mid-ladder Evo? Because if you look at the Evo stats, it has a health buff. It doesn't need that health buff, but that extra bit of health can help you mitigate a couple more of those level interactions. You notice I'm going about things that have stat buffs and that are very difficult to counter. So Valk, she isn't too difficult to counter, but that stat buff is really helpful. Tesla, I wouldn't recommend it. Tesla's a pretty level dependent card. You don't want to have it against mid-ladder stuff. Hunter, also pretty level dependent. Don't want to have it. You don't want your evos to be win conditioned, because you don't want your win condition to be evoed, even though evo win conditions are objectively better, which is a video for another time, but even though evo win conditions are objectively better, it's still not a good idea to have against mid-ladder, because if you can't defend, you're just dead. So it's better to focus on defense evos for mid-ladder. Evo Barbs, I mean, kind of, but mid-ladder tends to have a lot of splash, so Barbs just generally aren't a good card. If mid-ladder players didn't usually go for splash, then Evo Barbs actually would be pretty solid against mid-ladder. Wizard, just no. Witch is overpowered, so you can make an argument for her, but there's so much Mega Knight, you can't, I would say no. Xe, Ex-NATO is pretty good, Evo Ex-NATO, very good, but I wouldn't recommend it because Xe is not very good against mid-ladder. Xe shoots so slowly that if something survives on a sliver of health against Xe, like you tend to see against mid-ladder interactions when somebody's one level too high and the thing just barely survives because of that one level difference, since the Xe only shoots, once every 2.4 seconds, you're going to have to deal with that 1 HP Prince annihilating all of your stuff while the XE isn't shooting again. RG, once again, don't evolve your win conditions unless you're overleveled. If you're overleveled, please evolve every win condition you can. But if you're a regular player, then you should be focusing on defense evos. Evo P.E.K.K.A, not worth it. It heals the P.E.K.K.A, but the P.E.K.K.A is going to be dead anyway because that's just how levels work. You need something that does the extra damage. Evo Mega Knight, I mean, it's okay, I guess, but if you're underleveled, you're not playing Mega Knight. That's just not how it works. Evo Recruits are actually an extremely good Evo, very hard to play against, but most mid-ladder players tend to play stuff that counters Recruits because they just play lots of Splash. It's just, Splash is the best when it's over-leveled, so you end up getting hard countered if you play Recruits in mid-ladder. So yeah, that's a quick rundown of all of the best evos to have if you are mid-ladder. Alright, I forgot that Lumberjack's also evoed. Lumberjack is not a very good mid-ladder evo. If you're overleveled, very good. If you're underleveled, not going to be all that helpful because the Ghost won't actually help you all that much on defense. It is very difficult to break through an evil Lumberjack Ghost, but if you're using your Lumberjack on defense, you're not in a good situation anyway. So yeah, quick video, but that's my explanation. See you guys.